My name is Puria. I'm the founder of Transform Your Life. I offer healing and consciousness work since more than 20 years. I hosted and organized 3 times the Conscious Evolution Summit in the last years, and I spoke with more than 100 experts from all over the world about conscious evolution. And now life calls me to offer you a space. Over a really long period of time, I tuned into, and it came, I shall offer it for 13 months to provide a space, a birthplace for people who really want to bring forth their future potential. And I'm so happy and grateful that you join this video series, because I know, I'm so aware of that there are many offers out there, and that you might have already been in so many different courses and educations, and maybe you are on the spiritual path since many decades already. So I value really you taking the time to tune in if this offer really touches you and calls you. Because I deeply believe when we come together with a coherent group, committed and dedicated to their own self-evolution, and by that uplifting the frequency and the quality in our resonant field, this really makes a huge impact into the collective and supports humanity in its evolution into becoming really a new species. My aim is with this video series to give you a taste of the space, to really tune into me as a person and into what I offer, so that at the end of the 3 videos, you really know whether this is your next step in your evolution. And this extraordinary adventure really is supported by the space we are moving in. So you could say it's a little bit like a greenhouse. So we will meet weekly in live Zoom calls in this space to tap into the wisdom of our heart, to connect with our essence, to really shift our orientation from the conditioned self, from habitual, automatic movements in life, really into the freshness and the innocence and the deep wisdom which resides when we are really rooted in our essence. And what that really makes possible is that we together will do that. It's a little bit like the imaginary cells in the caterpillar. When they start to connect and they kind of become stronger than the immune system of the caterpillar, the new appearance of the butterfly can really come to the surface and be birthed. And this is what we are doing. So we will support each other in that process. So really we will tune into the space, because there is all information available for us. It's not out there. So I will not really teach you anything. I will really just hold the space and fill it with qualities which are supporting this awakening of the codes of conscious self-evolution, and all the knowledge and all the resources which are needed in order that every single person in this group can go through this process, and we together as a body, as a group body, can really open up and receive insights and guidance which wouldn't be possible when we would just try to do that on our own. So I'm deeply convinced that in the future, we need to come together. And in the next video, which you can see a week later, you can get a lot of information about the 52 codes for conscious self-evolution. I had the privilege to speak with Carolyn Anderson. She is the co-author of this book, which she did together with our dearly beloved Barbara Marx Hubbard. And as I mentioned, the space in which we meet is very crucial. I also want to invite you right now in this video and also in the two others which will come to really take a moment to feel the quality of the space. So it's not so much about the words, it's not so much about the content, but the quality of the space. I also don't know what is coming and emerging out of this space. I'm very much surrendering to this space and being receptive and trying as best as I can put the quality of this space into words and into frequency, into energy, so that you and everybody who is in it can also feel and sense it stronger. We will dive into the 52 codes of conscious self-evolution during this time. We will not be with every single code, but with most of them. Sometimes guest speakers will share their insights and their understanding about these codes. And also there, it's not so much about the words, but what is transported and what gets triggered in you, and how this opens you and expands you into a more expansive version of who you are. We will also attune with the 9th wave of evolution, which is available for us since 2011. And this wave really holds the quality of interconnectedness, of unity, of oneness consciousness. And prior waves are still operating. They brought something very different into our field of humanity. It was the digitalization before and before the technology. But now, with this last wave, really oneness consciousness is vibrating in the atmosphere, and we can learn to attune to it, to listen to it, to surrender to it, and to be mastered by it. So evolution is really supporting us very much in that. And I'm also a very big fan of the work from Patricia Albert. Maybe you already know her work. It's called Evolutionary Collective, and she shares very practical exercises which we can do together in pairs, or also with bigger groups, where we learn to listen to the we space, where we really come from what she calls the origination point, which is much, much, much before our very existence as matter. And when we relate from this origination point to the origination point of another person, other possibilities and realities just open up in this magical field. And there it's really not so much about the theory, that there it's really about that you experience this field. So we will almost, yeah, not maybe every gathering, but very often we will come together and break out in smaller groups and practice this mutual awakening practices. And then I'm trained as a shamanic practitioner. I studied with a shamanic lineage from the Mayan culture for 4 years. And they are really masters of holding frequencies and energies very clear and very pure. And this skill will also kind of really flow into this space, into this greenhouse. And I also want to let you know, I mean, this is an offer to come together for 13 months. And believe me, it is also not so easy for me to make such a long commitment because I love freedom and flexibility and spontaneity a lot. And to commit really to come together every week for 13 months, I know this is a long time. But I also want to say that there will be recordings available. So if you can't join or it's just too much or whatever reason is there, you don't have to worry because you can watch the recordings. And of course, it's with everything, when you really want to go deep in a practice, for example, if you do yoga, when you really practice it regularly and for longer times, of course, the takeaway and the impact in your system is much bigger than when you just practice it once a month or every now and then. But it's really, it's your choice how deep you want to go, and it's also your choice how committed you are to show up every week live. And I'm also aware of the fact that we might come together from many different countries and many different time zones. So I choose a time. So we will meet every Wednesday at 7 p.m. Central European Time. So this is morning or noon time in America. This would be a later evening if people from more Asian eastwards countries would show up. And I'm aware of that it's not really suiting you if you tune in from Australia or from New Zealand. That would be a very early morning time for you. But my sense is if really more people would come from this time zone, we could agree on maybe once a month or so, really shifting the time so that you could also be live with us. And I also really recommend that you meet in smaller groups regularly, ideally every week, to exercise, to practice, to have exchanges. And I will provide the organizing that for you. There will be also a Telegram group. This is an app which you can have on a mobile phone or also on your desktop, where we can have exchange and where you can also ask questions. And my aim is really to make this program available for everybody, and so that money shouldn't be an issue. I offer it in 3 different income price levels. So I rely on your honesty that you choose what really feels as a fair exchange for you. And if you would be in circumstances where you couldn't afford the lowest price as well, please apply for a scholarship, because it's really dependent on how many people show up in this program, how many people are able to pay a higher rate. So if this is the case, I can give away more scholarships because I really want to have everybody in this group who resonates with this subject. And I can't really offer a clear curriculum. And maybe you can understand that because we are really at the edge of evolution. So nobody really walked this path before. There is no manual, there is no clear instruction. And when we compare it with a birth, the midwife can't really tell exactly the steps or can tell you what is exactly the outcome, how the baby will look like, how long it will take. But the task of the midwife is to, as best as possible, provide a space, a loving space where everybody can kind of really connect to deep trust, feels the support, can be authentic and honest, and really bringing all into of what you are, of who you are. And this is my caretaking role in this process. And as I mentioned, the importance of this space several times, I want to guide you in a little attunement so that you, on deeper levels, can see if you resonate with that. And if you like, you can close your eyes for a few minutes, or at least bring your awareness inside and sense your physical body, connect with it, become aware of it from head to toe. Fill it with your awareness. And relax your heart. There is no need to change anything. This moment is perfect. And just notice, how would your system respond if you would deeply believe that this moment is the best moment to be aware, to be alive. No need to protect anything. No need to change anything. What if the entire wisdom of the universe would run through you? Without you needing to do anything for that. What if you would carry all what is needed in order to emerge into your future potential would already reside inside of you? What if you could deeply trust that you are encoded with the knowledge and the resources would be available for everything what is needed to transform this body, your person, and your life so that it is deeply aligned with your soul's purpose, with your heart, and with your future potential. What if your heart space could expand because it would connect with the heart spaces of everybody in this group? What if your nervous system would be able to expand and to merge with the nervous systems of everybody joining this group, so that the capacity to process information and experience would be much bigger than you just doing that on your own? What if your mind and your brain could expand and connect with the mind and brain of everybody in the group, so that the mental intelligence which is available is exponentially bigger than your own intelligence? What if we, as such a group vibrating in coherence in all our energy centers, would emanate signals and frequencies which draws in even more support, especially from the unseen realms? And I invite you to take a deep breath before you come back into this body with your awareness. Open your eyes. And maybe you can sense our group already. I do sense it already. There is a magnetic pull, a magnetic attraction already pulling us together into this field, into this explorative great adventure. So I am really honored that life chose me to offer you this space for evolutionary metamorphosis. I'm super excited. I'm really looking forward. I can't wait until it starts. So we will start. We will have our first gathering on the 21st of April. And I'm really looking forward to meet you there. But before, as promised, next week, you will see an interview with Carolyn Anderson, where she shares her experience of co-creating the 52 codes for conscious self-evolution together with Barbara Marx Hubbard. And another week later, you will get to see a video where Joy Taylor interviewed me She was really also very curious about the program, and she asked many questions about what brought me to consciousness work, about my life experience, about the motivation why I offer this long program. And there you can even get a more intimate sense of who I am. And thank you that you have joined it. And please watch out your inbox to receive the access link for the next video. You will also get an email with a recommendation for friends, because when you sense the space and this opportunity to grow together, maybe some person comes to your mind, maybe a friend, maybe someone in your family, in your surrounding, in your neighborhood. So please forward this invitation. I strongly sense that life really takes care that the right people come together. It's not about quantity, it's really about quality. But of course, it also needs a certain amount of people, that we are a sufficient group. And yeah, your support is very welcome in making this possible. So thank you for taking your time, and I'll see you next week.